Well, welcome to April 1st and the start of part 3 of the maintenance. We've gotten about 14 different things done altogether so far out of about 30 items that we need to do. So we're about halfway through the maintenance series. This one here, I've got two small quickie projects I'm going to be doing today. And then we're probably going to end up spending the rest of this vlog out in the main shop, Dragon's Lair workshop, working on some of the bigger, more probably longer, longer to do projects, basically because of drying time on some of the things. And you'll find out what I mean about drying time when we get to them. Our first project, real simple and quick, are these here. I have a skull that came loose from the plaque, and this one is starting to come loose. It's a ceramic plaque mounted to a wood platform, and I am using hot glue in order to glue the skull on. I need to go through here. I think I'm going to go ahead and break that one loose too and get it cleaned up, but I got to go through and clean off all the old hot glue on there. Clean off whatever hot glue is on this one, and then we're going to re-hot glue them back on. It isn't going to take all that long to do, and then we'll be on to the next project, which will be taking place today too. Well, like I said, a very, very quick project. It's been literally 10 minutes since I shot the opening, so this one's done. And you can see it is working. Basically, and you kind of got a shot of the plaque without the skull on it. It's just a puck light in there that I've got wired back to a stereo jack. And all I gotta do is just hook my wires into it, and the light comes on. That one also works. I've tested them both. You don't need to see both. Or maybe you do, but you're not going to get it. Anyway, this one's done. I'm going to get these put away, get my hot glue gun put away, because I think I'm done with that for the time being. And we're going to get started on the next quickie project. Okay, and just like that, snap of the fingers, and we are on to our next project. And as you can tell, this is Tiny's chest. I got a couple of things I want to do. First off is with the wiring down here. It needs to be relabeled. My old tags, that's what the blue tape is, are getting pretty faded. That, and I need to redo the ends of the wires, the connectors. These things here have come off, so I need to repair those. The other is I'm going to plug it in. One goes up to the head to do the eyes, and the other lead off of that goes in here to light up the LEDs. Now, last year when I put Tiny up, I screwed up on him. And with everything going on with Sue last year, it's understandable. But I ended up hooking up the power supply for the eyes to the lights in the rib cage. And I think I might have burned out a few of the LEDs in the rib cage. So I need to plug this in and see what type of damage I got, because it was not that bright last year, I noticed. I think I'm missing a few LEDs, and in which case I think I've got myself screwed. I don't think I'm going to be able to get in there and replace the LEDs in there. I don't know. I'm going to have to check. There are no LEDs. Oh yeah, there is. There is an LED there. But when I originally did this, I made the LEDs up as a wiring harness, went in, taped them into place, and then put great stuff over the top of it to help hold the wiring and hide the wiring. So I cannot remove it without having to remove the great stuff. And I don't want to have to go back through and paint great stuff. So I might just go without lights in here. Depends on how it turns out. But anyway, I need to check that. So this is a quickie 1-day project. I just don't know how long it's going to take. It might be real quick if I'm just having to deal with this and I don't do anything with that. I don't know. It also might not be, but we'll see. Okay. I am, I think, done with the Tiny's chest. I've gone through and I've put a new plug on both wires, the one that goes up to the eyes and the one for the chest. And I've checked the lights in the chest, and as I feared, I do have some out. You can see the light shining there. On this side of the chest, I have one strand here that is not working. I got 3 lights there not working. And then over here, I have a few more. This whole strand here is not working. So that would explain why the chest cavity at night looks a little dimmer. And looking at them, let's see if I can get a good angle here. Yeah, I can't really. We'll go here like this. This one here that's not working. This is the one that has 3 LEDs on it. The cable is totally covered with great stuff and it's been painted. And it'd be easy enough to take it out, but then I'd have to re-great stuff it, repaint it. I'm not worried about it. If it gets down to the point where I am out of lights in there, then I will worry about it. But for right now, it's good enough to go. I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not even going to worry about repairing that. So that means I need to coil up all my wiring, stick them back into the spinal cord so they don't get yanked. And we will move on to the next project, which is going to be taking place out in the shop. But I have a problem. My shop is a freaking disaster area. All of the little different projects I've been doing in here, I've been digging into stuff and just leaving it strewn all over the place. You know, if I needed a wrench or some nippers or some wire or what have you. So I need to go through and clean up the shop, which is going to be my first chore. Then we'll get started on the next project. Well, we're out in the Dragon's Lair workshop. I got it cleaned up, or is at least as cleaned up as it normally is. It's still a mess in here, dusty and everything else. But we were talking about the next project, and the next project is over here. And it's something you guys have seen quite a bit of over the years, but no one that comes to the haunt has ever seen. And that's this workbench. This workbench, the top to it has been on this bench since I made them. And they're almost 20 years old, maybe just shy of that. And what I originally used to do the surface of the table was press wood. In other words, sawdust. Glued sawdust. I used it at the time because it was the cheapest thing. You know, and 20 years ago, I paid probably $4, $5 for a 4x8 sheet of it. And I did all my workbenches with it. And to be honest, all the workbenches need to be redone. But I'm not going to worry about those over there. I am worrying just about these, or this one here. Reason being, as you can see, I've got a hole in it. The press board is starting to fail and come apart. I have a hole there. And then this one here I turned into my catch-all, was originally one of those. So I did a catch-all there. I went down, and see, it's outside here. Put it out here to get it out of the way. Bought some 1-inch thick plywood to make the new work surface out of. That will hold up a lot better than the plywood. And sorry about swiveling the camera and stuff around. I should have switched it back to this when I started that. But that plywood will hold up a lot better than this press board will. So I need to now, so I can do the project, I need to get everything off this workbench, which will allow me to sort through it and get rid of the crap I really don't need, because I just shove stuff up on the back edge. And I need to get it off the table. Then I need to come through here and get all the screws out. And I was just looking. I've got a line of screws going down the front edge. I've got a line of screws in the back, and I think I've got a couple on the ends here, on both ends. I need to see about getting loose. I want to try to keep that piece in one piece so I can have it as a template to do the hole for the catch-all. Problem is, while I can get the ends and the back free, this front edge has so many drips and stuff along it, I can't find the screws anymore on it. So I'm probably going to have to take my Sawzall and cut the screws in order to get that piece loose, which is going to be fun. But anyway, right now it's moving stuff and breaking that piece loose. Then I'll get the plywood in here and we will get things cut and get that replaced. Probably going to take a while. As slow as I'm moving today, it's probably going to take a while. Well, it's taken the better part of the afternoon, but tables is cleaned off. As I took things off, I went through and sorted, got rid of the garbage, whatever. It is all over there now. I've also gone through and got the tabletop loose. So now I am ready to move on to this. And I've got to get this cut so the width is the same as that. And then I'll come back through and I'll cut out the box here in the plywood. That way I can just put it over there and be done with it, I hope. That's my hope. And I don't know if I'll get it done today. Well, I goofed up yesterday. I was going to film a clip when I got done to show you what I gotten done yesterday, and I forgot. So you're going to get it now, right before I finish. We spent most of the day doing that. We got the new tabletop in. It looks a hell of a lot cleaner. Of course, there's nothing on it, so of course it's going to look cleaner. Cubby hole's more trimmed up and looks better. So we're good to go. We got a workbench in here. Now, yesterday, this was all the stuff that was sitting on the old workbench. I went through, sorted through it, got a half a garbage can full of crap that I've been just saving, you know. I'd find a big boulders and, I could use this for a project down the road. And I saved it, and that type of stuff. And it's been sitting there for almost a decade collecting just because I forgot it was there. So, that's all cleaned up. Now, I got to get this stuff from over there back over to here and get things finished up. There we go. Table's loaded back up. And it is a little neater, though it looks like a bunch of junk. But we've got everything in. I am now able to get to my yardsticks. They were all down in this area here, and they were a pain in the ass to get out. But they're up there now, so I can get to them. I got too many yardsticks. I should throw a couple out. But, piece of garbage. Bad piece of garbage. Garbage belongs in garbage can. But anyway, we got that done. Now, we've got, now that project's done, we've got several others that we're going to be working on out here. Probably more than what we'll have room for in this vlog. But we'll get started on the next one. Oh, I think it's time we get Kaylee on the vlog. And then you get real close and I can't get you. All right, now that we got the workbench done, it's time for the next project. And we're switching over. I've got two projects for the pirate display I need to do. The first one is this here, Jen's picture, which hangs above the bar scene in our pirate display. Last year was such a wet year. In fact, it was the wettest year we've had. The frame failed. It finally broke apart. So we are going to redo a frame for it. I'm going to do it a little bit different style than what Jen gave us. That came with the picture, and it was, a little bit thinner stock. I'm going to use some wider stock. And we've got to make a picture frame. My first order of business on here is to get the pieces to the frame made. In other words, that's the top of it there, and we've got the bottom. I got to get those measured out, and then we've got to get the sides measured out, then we've got to get it assembled, and we will go from there. Okay, just got done with lunch. We got the picture frame cut and assembled. Now I've got Gorilla Glue in the corners, and it's held together with brad nails. I need to let it sit overnight for the Gorilla Glue to dry, and then we can get back into it, do some sanding and a couple other things to it before we can go any further. And one thing I did want to cover, here, it's all rolled up, but it's Jen's picture. I took it down to Office Depot and had it laminated. So it's basically sandwiched inside a kind of like a plastic film now. I've always worried about having that out in the haunt because the picture was not laminated. It was just paper with her drawing on it. And I was always worried about getting ruined. Now that it's laminated, I don't have to worry about it. So it'll hold on forever, I hope. But we will return to the picture frame project tomorrow after it's dried overnight. So for right now, I'm bored. I'm going to get started on the next project. And as you can see, that's the wheel to my ship's wheel. And I went and redid it and screwed up. I went and attached all the little skulls with hot glue. And the hot glue, while it's sticking really good to the wood, does not like sticking to the back of these little skulls. I had that problem with the other version of the ship's wheel I had. Skulls kept wanting to pop off. So I went through and glued them on with Gorilla Glue. Never had the problem again. Well, guess what? I got to do it again. I got to re-glue all the skulls on. But it's a process. I need to pop all the skulls off, clean off all the hot glue, and then reapply the skulls with Gorilla Glue, and then this is going to need to sit and dry overnight. And I got to do it to all three parts. I've got the ship's wheel and the two outriggers, the arms that stick off to the side on either side of the ship's wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Well, good morning, people. Just getting out into the shop. Yesterday we did get all the skulls off the ship's wheel, and we've gone back through, and I've glued them back on with Gorilla Glue. They shouldn't pop off like the others did. I still need to go through and clean it up, and like with here where I had to sand it down, I'm going to have to go back through and restain. The handles are the same way. But I will do that at a later date. I need to get the other two pieces out here and get the skulls fixed on that, and I'll do it all at the same time. So right now, I'm as far as I'm going to go on that. Now I'm going to return my attention back to the picture frame. It's dried overnight. It needs a good sanding on all sides. And then I'm going to go through and cut a groove here in the wood to accept the plexiglass and the picture, and then I'm going to need to cut some backing material as well for it. My problem is my Luan I've got is behind all that stuff. And I don't know if I want to take the time to try to dig it out. Just to cut a piece of backing for this. And then end up having to put all that stuff back. So what I might try to do is use Jen's original backer for the picture. So, I don't know. It's something I'm going to have to think about. But for right now, sanding and getting that groove cut is my first priority. Then I can get measurements for how big of a groove I need in there to accept the picture and the plexiglass. And then I can go from there. Another day, another dollar, and we're back out in the shop. Now, yesterday, we went and got the picture frame stained, and it dried fairly quick. It was a really nice day yesterday. And I went and got the skulls glued onto it for ornamentation. We also went over and got the rest of the ship's wheel all glued up. So everything is nice and dry now. Now, before I do anything with the ship's wheel, we are going to finish this picture frame out. And what I need to do, let's see, I saw one earlier. Right there, you can see there's a little slop from the Gorilla Glue I use. Stick it out. I got to go around all the skulls, get them cleaned up, and then do whatever touch-ups on the staining I need to do. Once that's accomplished, we can get the picture mounted back in there, and we'll be done with the project. But, and then I'll give you a look at with the picture installed. But we are making progress. So we're going to start with the picture frame, get it finished, and then we'll move over and start working on the ship's wheel. We won't get that done today. That's going to take a while. There's a lot more to it than a simple little picture frame. And there we go. Picture is done. Another maintenance project completed. Looks interesting. I'm going to have to get used to that frame. I'm so used to the one that Jen originally did. It was thinner, not as wide as this one is. But that ought to look good over the bar or somewhere in the Pirates display. Usually it goes over the bar. But we got that done. Now our next thing is we're going to be working on this, and I will not get it done today. I got a lot of skulls on here that need cleaning. So I've got to go through and get them cleaned. Get all the extra glue off. Now what I'm doing to clean is I'm just simply using the chisel, and I'm putting this side down next to the skull and just pushing down, going all the way around the skull, and then the great stuff will chip off a little bit. So I've got to sit there and do that to all three pieces, get it all cleaned up, and then we got to come back through and very carefully do some restaining here and there from where I had to sand. It will be interesting. And there we go. I just finished doing the ship's wheel. Now it needs to sit overnight and dry. And then after that, we can get it in the morning, we can get it put away, or sometime tomorrow get put away. And we'll get the last thing for the pirate display out here and get to working on that. And you'll see that, hopefully, next clip. Well, it's been a busy day. I'm finally now making out to the shop, and it's 2 o'clock. I've been going since about 9 this morning. We got our next project out. Well, actually, we got the old projects done and put away. The ship's wheel and the photo, or picture. And now, this here is the front of the bar. I did it just like I did the ship's wheel. I used hot glue. You can see the residue of it there to glue the skulls on. And if you bump it or anything, skulls start falling off. In fact, I lost 3 of them. That one there and 2 there. Just bringing it upstairs, bouncing it up the stairs. So, I need to go through here, and we're going to pop all the skulls loose, clean up the hot glue off of it, just like I did with the ship's wheel, and then come back through and re-glue the skulls back on. And to get my placement of where I have the skulls at, before I pop them off, I'm going to take a silver Sharpie and put a line down here so I know where the bottom of the skulls go. And after we're done with the hot gluing and cleaning it up and everything, we'll come back through with some black paint and touch it up. Quickie project. The longest part of it is the dry time when it comes to the painting and the gluing. Okay, it's the next day. And we did some good progress yesterday. Got the ship's wheel done and put away. And we got started on the front of the bar. I got all the skulls off. They've been re-glued and sitting overnight. Now I need to go through, like this one right there. You can see that slop sticking out. That's Gorilla Glue. I got to go through all the skulls, get all that cleaned off. And it takes a little bit. And then we're going to come back through my brush. And we're going to redo the black. Now, originally when I made this, before I had them installed into the framework here, I went through and I painted all the black. And then popped them in and then applied the skulls. I could have taken them, I should have technically taken them loose, repainted them, and then reapplied the skulls, but would have been a lot easier. But anyway, we're going to go through and repaint the black. But first I got to get the skulls cleaned off. And just like that, we're done. I went through and redid the black. Now, I need to let this dry for a couple hours. And either later today or tomorrow morning, first thing, we'll get out here, get this thing put away, and start on the next project. But you aren't going to see it. At least not right away. I'm calling this vlog to a close. I keep saying I want to keep these vlogs a little shorter, and they're all staying about 30 minutes. Probably there now. So we've basically got all the pirate stuff, maintenance, that needed maintenance. Next vlog, we're probably going to be hopping all over the place with the projects. But for that, we're done. Thank you for watching. Oh, one thing, part 2, the last vlog I had up. I was doing some work with my little puck lights. And someone asked where I got the puck lights from in the comments. And I did respond in the comments section. I will respond here in case that person, because I can't remember who it was, is watching. I make the puck lights myself. All my lighting, I make myself. And for a while, I was selling them. I kind of stopped because there was lack of interest in them. But if someone's interested in getting puck lights or anything, send me a private message or drop me an email at hauntedtents@gmail.com, and we can converse that way. But you can private message me on Facebook and stuff. So with that, stay spooky, stay toxic.